the Canyon. Welcome back to another installment of it. It came from the Workbench series. This one goes back a little bit. Volume 53. Last update, dang near 2 months. Been about 2 months since this guy. It has appeared in videos. It came from the Workbench 53. Is my instinctual, reflexive response to having had the Gooliemoo here, the axial Helaman, because I said, I kind of understand what they were going for. And I think not only did they miss the target, they missed the hay bale that the target is attached to, and then the arrow flew down the range and hit somebody in the leg. It's kind of what they did with the Gooliemoo, because it really felt like the Gooliemoo was something which was designed to sell parts for Gooliemoos. I didn't kind of like that. They didn't really, there was the innovation that was attempted flew past the hay bale and hit somebody in the leg. So I thought to myself, we can certainly do this cheaper. It came from the Workbench 53, is the Economoo, building a much cheaper one. So what we did is we take a bunch of stuff and we put it together, and we basically cobble ourselves together what I've just been calling a UTB-8. It is, for those unfamiliar, cheap Amazon, not me, us, not Rhino, cheap Amazon mid-tier axles with the necessary parts, 5mm stub axles, machine, hardened gears in the portals, BTA running a 60 kg back there. We've got shocks from a Traxxas High Trail. We've got an array of Amazon-sourced oil slick stuff, oil slick drive shafts, oil slick turbine wheels. We've got the usual selection of things. Amazon dig box in the middle, Endura V8 puffing away in the back. It is 3,750 grams. It is 8¼ pounds. It is fitted with J Concepts rock bumps. Good old rock bumps. And inside those rock bumps are Crawler Innovations dual stages. I've been tinkering with this thing on and off. It has new panels. A lovely follower of the Canyon came over to do a little wheeling and had made these panels for his off-brand, this is the Endura branded capper cage, and handed me the set of panels. We did a little Zoidberg inspired. He's a little, well, he's a little bit of a son of Zoidberg, is he not? Zoidberg is, of course, super shafty capper axle, 4-wheel steer, 2.2 full-size 575, ruptures a heat massaged J Concepts bar, short course body, a custom chassis, you know, the whole thing. So and he began mostly as a Capra. So the UTB-8, what is the wheelbase? It's really long. 365 on the wheelbase, about 280 on the wheel track, the rock bumps. I haven't wheeled it since I started making a bunch of adjustments. I have, during the last time it was out on the rocks, I don't know, when I pick 8¼ pounds up, it feels really heavy. Since last it was out on the rocks, I've been making adjustments to dig. The dig is running a plastic horn, because the plastic horn is like the perfect length. It's like the perfect spot. I don't have an alloy horn that is the right offset. Anyway, dig engagement and disengagement was a little imprecise, not as predictable and as exact as you like it. So what I did is I just did some endpoint adjustments, and I definitely think we're closer. Oh, you know what I could be doing? I could be doing cruise. That's much better. That is much better. And the rock bumps following the test that occurred in between constructing him and where he is now, I just think they look great. The rock bump is a green pin tire, and that is a truly magical thing. This being my take on the UTB-8 is definitely something that is built for a full 575 tire. And I'm just kind of bringing you along with me because I'm very curious as to where have we ended up. For something that's caged and doesn't have all of the pieces in exactly where I might want them. I did build my own sides to the flat plate chassis to give me more link separation in the rear, to change my link separation in the front, and I'm running shock keys in the front to lay the shocks down more. We're just, you know, the wheel rim, the wheel insert tire setup on this now kind of flies in the face of my initial design, because yeah, it's near enough to $200 in wheel tire and insert all inclusive. I thought about mounting them up on the inserts that came in the rock bumps, but we swapped out 575 Tusks. That was what was on him previously. We swapped them out. So I put those single stage in here. They feel amazing. We don't currently have anything on hand to run these 575 Tusks, which means we're going to have to build something to run these 575 Tusks, because the whole thing got thrown into a flurry because I got 2.2 landmines, and they come with foams that are like rock. And previously, every 575J Concepts I had bought came with the same foam, the exact same foam, until that one. So we've always been one set of foams short. So I spent $60 to stop us from being one foam short. And at 8.5 pounds, I think that the rock bumps will certainly benefit from that increased sidewall support of the Novas, big Novas. There's always the tuning ring. The guy that looks like this on the big ones, he has tuning ring in the rear, no tuning ring in the front. So it's acting like a half a stage softer in the front. Everything feels tremendorific on the bench and in the shop, but we've yet to see what it will do out of doors. That is the CLS 4060 from Flash Hobby, which is rated 2.4S. He's running a Rhino Crawler S12 1900 kV. I can tell you this right now with and the Rhino V40 ESC. I can tell you this right now with certainty. If that was the 1470 kV, we would be running this on 4S. And I'm not ruling out in the future purchasing the 1470, swapping that 1900 out. I have 3 or 4 rigs in here right now that would gladly take that 1900, because if I can get more torque out of the servo to move these big boys around, to move this big boy around, I'll pipe 4S into it. Why not? Why not? If you can, do. So, it's still lovely overcast. I don't think the sun has managed to punch its way through that overcast yet. It'll probably do it right in the middle of the video, and then I'll have to adjust all the brightness values as we go. But we'll see. So we're going to head out there with Son of Zoidberg, the Gooliemoo, the UTB-8, my instinctual response to the Gooliemoo, because what did we want? Big Capra! Try to tell me that in all honesty, when Axial announced the Gooliemoo, and when it finally came out, you all didn't just go, Big Capra. Give me a UTB-8. Give me a Gooliemoo-sized 4-wheel steer Capra. Amazing. I didn't have a 4-wheel steer set of axles, so I just made a big Capra. To me, the Capra still doesn't have 4-wheel steer, so that's what this is. Let's go out and see how it do. Has not touched rock, and I canyon changed the hell out of it, so I guess this is the canyon change episode of It Came From the Workbench 53. I'll make an effort after the drive back. First thing I do, get to the spot, I take the thumbnail. I'm pretty happy with that thumbnail, because with no banana for scale, You really can't tell how big this thing is. This thing is big. We have a fairly reasonable reliance on the capacity of scale. Like at that wheelbase and this tire size and all the things that it's got going for it. Like doodle bugging, that is where you tip over straight over backwards. You get past that balance point and tip over straight backwards. It's going to be kind of hard to do on this because you have to get into a spot where you have enough room. Oh, rock bumps, man. I had concerns because it had been untested. I was like, what are rocks bumps going to do? What are the geologic infections going to do if we present them with like a not insignificant increase in ground pressure, which is definitely what we have here. And ba-da-ba-ba-da, you're loving it. I worried for nothing. Little dig spin. I'm trying to keep the throttle speed real low because I want to see how well these grab. Yeah, they just go. There's a real difference in feel between, and again, obvious things are obvious. There's a real difference in feel between a tusk and a rock bump. They definitely put that power down different. Yeah, rear pumpkin is the spot on this guy. If you don't center that pumpkin up on something, you get to just drive straight through. So out here on the course, my favored headgear for most of the year is what you call a lifeguard hat, but like, you know, this thing, like a straw hat, like a lifeguard hat. I like this Quicksilver one. It's got an like fabric on the inside of the brim, so you don't get those like pin points of sunlight into your blue-eyed devil eyes. The only problem is you see all the yellow on the ground. That's the blossoms from the Palo Verde tree, which drops blossoms everywhere. The wife calls it the giving tree because it never stops dropping stuff. When you walk under that tree, if you're tall enough and your hat brushes, are we gonna doodle? Are we gonna doodle? I didn't touch dig or anything, getting some good sidewall wrinkle. That's real slow. If you walk under it and your hat brushes against it, you knock the ants out of the tree that are all hanging out in the tree. And then you're like, oh, how is there an ant on my neck? And you spent, hey, what's up, lizard? You spend a bunch of the time during your tire test or what have you with what we in the industry called ant panic, only it's not really ant panic. You ever had an ant crawl in, what's a knee pit called? You ever had an ant crawl in your knee pit? It feels real weird. And I'm not a sniper laying on an anthill trying to avoid capture in the jungle. So when an ant crawl, oh, look at him. Look at him. Oh, how dare you? I know you're getting swole. Oh, ooh. If you weren't so impossibly fast, I would get you. The lizards out here are just rude. I mean, they're just Argentines, which for those who live in places, what is it like to live somewhere where they don't have ants? Is there a place that doesn't have ants? I think I read that they only don't have ants in Antarctica, which is ironic, right? Antarctica. There we go. There we go. Gets that driver rear bound in, and that's just how much torque is in that tire. But the Geo is doing its very best to try to stop us. Okay, let's go as hard as we can. Straight up over. Let's grab this side. Can we have capacity of scale? Will it tread in and give it to us? Ooh. Wow, this is all those dual stages right now. That tire's folding back there. That was a little dig. Oh, yeah. Not every solution is go slow. That's why we test bump. That's why we test all that stuff. You get right through here, like we come through here, we can go real slow. And as I said, if nothing's catching the pumpkin, we're just going. Yeah, the plastic horn is, I can see it flexing on the bench. I can't see it inside the cage when we're out here, but I guarantee you that horn is flexing and it's giving us a little bit of a servo saver action, which I don't want. On flat ground, engagement and disengagement is lightning fast. I've got to find, fabricate. I got to get a metal horn. But it's longer than 24 millimeters. Oh, maybe an offset rod end? I wonder if I can find an offset rod end. That was nice. Good engagement, good disengagement. Let's see if we can. Little lock, pull it. Okay. Use that corner edge. Oh, yeah. 360. Long wheelbase only becomes a problem when it becomes a problem. Like in everyday operation. A 365 wheelbase is going to hurt turning circle. That's why we got dig. But stability-wise, it's stability up across the board. You might think, well, only when climbing, right? No. Descending, side hilling, all of it. The further you get those wheels apart, it makes that, I don't know what the technical jargon is. I don't know what the, yeah, right there, a little locked in. Yeah, plastic horn, I'll get you. Also, I had meant to mention this earlier, still no due diligence done. That gearbox is still, like, I don't even know if I changed all the screws in it. I think I did. Did I grease it when I put it back together? I don't remember if I did. Problems? Self-made. That little, like, it will hitch. I can't even recreate it. There we go. We can kind of overwhelm it. Not always. We can overwhelm it a little. For the, like, 5th time this thing has come out, it is getting better across the board. There's ants on my hands. There's ants on my legs. It's not even ant panic because it's really happening. But, I mean, there is an equal measure of ant panic installed because I feel them everywhere now. Now push up. Oh, yeah. That's rock bone stuff right there. That's real nice. If I had a question on the bench, it was, are we sufficiently damped? Because those combos out of the corners are not super light. We don't have brass rings or anything like that in the wheels. It's just a straight wheels, but nevertheless, a 575 on a big 2.2 is going to be 230, 240 grams pretty easily. You can get kilo of wheelos without much effort, which means rotating mass-wise, we've got 25%. And when you get that articulation action, is it upsetting, like, is it making us lose drive and stability? I don't think it's making us lose drive. I'm watching how quickly the tires find the ground when they break traction. They find the ground really fast, which generally would make me think slightly underdamped, but like slightly. And again, energy conservation comes in. Do I want to pull those shocks off and apart and drain them and clean them to put 2 steps heavier oil in it to go from 300 CST to 450, 500 CST. It's got to really show us something almost overwhelmingly negative. Like, it has to be acting like empty shock, and it is absolutely not. Let's see if we can transition out right here. Oh, murder hole, murder hole, murder hole. 40 amp controller and an S12, which is a 3630. I, honest to God, thought I'd broken the whole front end when I fell into that hole. I thought I broke something we couldn't fix in the short term, because I got a glimpse of the underside of the driver front, and that tire was sideways. And by sideways, I mean the part that faces out was facing down, and the part that faces in was facing up. And I was like, oh no, we've really shattered it. But we are apparently, potentially unscathed. We look okay. We look okay. I need a hit on the side hill so quick I'm not even going to move camera 2 from where it's sitting. I just want to see like what kind of squidge we get. Do we get rear lift? Do we have long enough wheelbase to just support it through? I feel no lightness from the rear end at all. That's me just driving too hard into the line. There we go. We learn less from the successes. You know, failure is where we wring it from. So get further out onto where you know the bad line is. Like, I'm trying to see at what point can I get that high side rear to lift. We've got body rolled completely over. It's not surprising. That's a bunch of sprung weight. That little slide. Okay, there we go. There we go. That's odd. I didn't have anything right there. All right, there we go. So I might be willing. Geez, I would like heavier. I would like a little more damping. So I'm probably going to have to. Maybe, is it just the rear or is it the front as well? It might be the front as well. If I'm going to do all 4, I might as well do all 4. Angle it back up. I want to see, are we going to get that lift? I see it dropping back down. Got a little nudge on it. There it goes. Yeah, that side hiller is not as smooth as I would like. But what we don't want to do is, like, I don't think we have an overabundance of forward drive. So I don't want to make suspension tunes that hurt that forward drive. I think it's entirely possible that we're right at the edge of, like, if we got much heavier, we'd be too heavy for the rock bumps. Like, they don't want more PSI than this. Let's see. That's that front. Oh, that pulled up hard. So, yeah, I still don't think that, I mean, a lot of tires will prioritize, or the setup will prioritize front drive to such a degree that you're like, I mean, we're sacrificing. But here, I don't know. I want my front suspension action moderately slower. I realize that is going to compromise compliance to a degree. There is no free get. It's compromise across the board. Slid in a little too far. There we go. We're long across the belly, but we're doing just fine. I think a cage self-rights a little bit better than running a standard rig without a body, but not a lot better. If they get on the roof, you're set. Yeah, these tires pull hard. They pull quite hard. That right there. This is what we want to tune out. And it is modest. It is a moderate amount of overshift right there. Like we're three-wheel motioning, but the inserts are doing work. That slid into the fence. So we get a little more wheel speed, we pop back this way. Sometimes wheel speed is just the outright cure. It is the tune on the fly. But I get real picky particular. Swing around the outside. I think we're gonna get a wheel stand action when we make our shot at center cut. Yeah, I'm now thinking 4S 1470. Okay, a little augered in, a little width action there. So we got to figure out how to get up over this. We'll just drop this side. There you go. If the side is binding on the left, hit it with the side to the right. Oh, stay down, stay down, stay down. Don't lift. Grab it, hook it. Grab it, hook it. I'm still feeling good pressure at the front end. Is it a little more? A little bumpy? It's a little bumpy. We never got rowdy. If you can get into those positions where you can bump that throttle input to like 60, 70%, it's pretty good. So then the worry is, if we slow that front suspension action down, when the shocks get unloaded and the weight of the wheel starts to kind of push the shocks back under, which means we're moving more towards that tip position, are they not going to want to fall back down because the damp is overwhelming the spring rate? Well, then you gotta, oh, we can tip the shock down a little more maybe? The last 5% is deliciously infuriating because it's where the real performance comes out. It's where you get that last bit. But man, for me, I know it's likely different for everyone, but for me, there is certainly an element of trial and error because I do make this effort to never build two of the exact same thing unless the goal is to build two of the exact same thing. So when I'm looking at a Capra cage here or a Capra cage elsewhere, the approach, the destination is the same, but the approach is oft very different. I mean, that's pretty solid, right? That's pretty steep across there. It's got, I don't know if you can hear it. Clicking in reverse is interesting. Best case scenario, endpoints on that dig servo are just wrong. Could be flexing the horn. Horn change is number one. I will debate myself at length as to whether or not I want to go to heavier shock oil in the front. Maybe go to a rate heavier spring in the front if it's something that I can find in that length in my bins. Very catchable. That is hanging out in space. That was just open space. And the other thing, so two certain changes. Dig servo horn, the rod ends on the tie rods. They are the rod ends that came with the axles, which are the same type of rod end that I say these rod ends are cheap, you should throw them away. And in the front at least, they are super sloppy We have like a variable toe in, toe out situation going. I'm gonna have to do more experimentation driving this guy on different throttle inputs as well. Ha ha! Oh, you've ruined it. So aside from rod ends and servo horn, I'm not going to hit anything else. We've got to move in smaller steps now. So I will make those changes. That'll tighten it up a little. And then it's just more, it's more wheeling. It is wheel time over everything. And you just look at it, and it is oft repeated for a reason here. Wheel the rig. Watch it when you're driving. What is it doing that you don't want it to do? What is it not doing that you do want it to do? I don't want to lift that front tire as much. That's mostly geometry. Shock spring is part of that geometry because it controls how fast that triangle changes shape. The same with the weight of the oil in the shock that controls the damping rate. Angle of the shock only changes effective rate, so if I can only go up 2 rates, maybe I'll lay the front shock down a little more, which will also gain more front articulation. I don't know if I want that. See, when you make a change, you're influencing all other potential changes. So I know the 2 mechanical things, rod ends, servo horn. Aside from that, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I'm really happy with the performance overall, but as the song said, whatever you got, you want more. This is kind of a good test right here. On the wheel lift, still through it. We don't have anything to purchase with the rear, so we kind of shuttle, and that's without changing throttle input level. I have my own level of standard. To some of you, you might be like, he's not even trying. And to some of you, people would be like, I wish my thing, insert name here, would do that. You just keep plugging away, you know. And I'll get this thing to, if not this pinnacle of performance, then at least the level of performance that is desired, what I want it to do. And then we will decide where we go from there. So minimal changes. We'll see you again. Hopefully it won't be 2 months in between installations here. And hopefully I'll see you sooner than that. Hopefully you tune in for the next one. And in between now and then, please want to all do your very best. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you again here from the Canyon. The old Gooliemoo, the UTB-8. He's a good guy. He's got reverse growl. Maybe add that to the list with the other 2 things. Maybe we'll try to figure out what that's all about, but it's feeling pretty phantom already. It's going to hide from me. Don't hide from me. Come back and see us next time. Thanks for watching, everybody.